Hulk's a big baby, Thor is an asshole, and Peter Quill is a dumbass. Hey there everyone, I'm Rasen Ryu, but my friends call me Rasen. Avengers Infinity War, worth all the hype or... Look, who am I kidding? Of course it was! Man, Marvel wasn't playing with this one. Bringing just about every character from the entire cinematic universe into one movie, and telling a pretty cohesive story with said characters having such varying personalities? They said it couldn't be done, but they done it. It's not without its flaws though, and so I'm going to talk about the good and the bad of Avengers Infinity War. Now, if you haven't already figured it out, this review is going to have spoilers. I won't give absolutely everything away, but you have been warned nonetheless. I'm also going to talk about a few theories I have for what's next with Marvel, so stick around if you want to hear some non-comic book reader talk about his misguided takes on what could happen. On with the show. So like I said, Marvel wasn't playing with this movie. First 10 minutes of the movie, Heimdall stabbed through the heart, Loki neck broken, Hulk beat up so badly that he doesn't want to fight anymore, all by Thanos. And Thor was made to watch all of it before the ship with all the Asgardians gets blown to smithereens. So yeah, first 10 minutes is nothing but grim. The Hulk, now Bruce Banner, gets sent back to Earth where he meets Doctor Strange, and they tell Tony Stark about Thanos. Once all of that is out of the way, two of Thanos' minions attack to try and steal Strange's Time Stone, one of the 6 Infinity Stones that Thanos is hunting for. One of the minions is sent far away thanks to Wong and sudden help from Spider-Man, but Strange is captured anyway by the other one and is taken into space. Spider-Man and Iron Man still away on the ship to rescue Strange. Now, if I may gush over the Iron Suits for a bit, I know we saw Iron Man's leg boosters in the trailers, but they're still so freaking cool in the movie. Stark's nanobot suit lets him be even more creative with Iron Man, like automatically rebuilding broken suit parts, and even creating a sword from nothing. And I think it's freaking awesome that not only is Spider-Man joining the fray again, but that he also has his Iron Spider suit that Stark bestows on him in order to save his life. To me, that suit is top notch. It looks amazing, no pun intended, and just helps to give Peter Parker further protection against anything that comes at him. The spider legs that come with the suit look absolutely incredible, and I'm glad I wasn't spoiled on them before seeing it, because holy crap was that a surprise. Which kind of makes what happens later all the worse, but I'll get to that soon. At around the same time of that attack, Vision and Scarlet Witch are attacked by 2 more of Thanos' minions, who are after the Mind Stone on Vision's head. They try to hold their own against the minions, and Scarlet Witch shows off some astounding power. They get overpowered though, and things look bleak until the Avengers show up. Well, some of them. Captain America, Black Widow, and Falcon provide backup and rout the bad guys to save Vision. They all then learn from Banner that Thanos is coming and fly to Wakanda in order to 1. Enlist the Wakandans' help in protecting Vision, 2. Separate Vision from the Mind Stone, and 3. Destroy the Mind Stone so Thanos never gets all 6 Infinity Stones. Okay, so I would love to run down every single detail in this movie because it's all so fun and interesting to talk about. But there are 2 more storylines going on in this movie at the same time, and if I talked about them at length, this video might get a little too long. So I'm going to try to summarize the events leading up to the end really quickly, so just stay with me, okay? At around that time, Thor is saved from drifting in space by the Guardians of the Galaxy. Thor explains that he needs to go have a new hammer forged so he can kill Thanos. Rocket and Groot decide to go with him, while Star-Lord, Drax, Gamora, and Mantis go off to try and stop and defeat Thanos. Thanos easily defeats the Moron team, as Thor and Rocket calls them, and kidnaps Gamora so she can tell him where the Soul Stone is. After seeing her sister Nebula being tortured by Thanos, Gamora tells him where to find it. And so, Thanos meets Red Skull and... Wait a minute, Red Skull? Captain America, the first Avenger of Red Skull? The one who disappeared about 100 years ago? That Red Skull? And he turns out to be the Guardian of the Soul Stone, meant to guide anyone searching for it to it. But it requires a sacrifice of love. So Thanos throws Gamora off a cliff and obtains the Soul Stone. Cue the "congrats, you got an item" music. Turns out he really loved his adopted daughter. After grieving for Gamora a little, Thanos tracks down Doctor Strange, who has by this time crash landed with Iron Man and Spider-Man on Titan, Thanos' homeworld. They are joined by the Moron team, well, of course what's left of them, and come up with a plan to stop Thanos. Thanos arrives, and it seems that they're really going to separate him from the Infinity Gauntlet. They fight hard and are so very close to pulling it off until Thanos lets Star-Lord know that he had to kill Gamora. Well, now Star-Lord is pissed and messes up the plan. Mantis had subdued Thanos with hypnosis, and Star-Lord takes a couple of shots to Thanos' face, which wakes him up just in time to defeat all of them and obtain the Time Stone. Right after that, Thanos disappears, leaving them all stranded on Titan. Thor is taken to Nidavellir, where Thanos has already killed all but one giant dwarf blacksmith, Eitri. In order to create a new weapon, Thor must channel the power of a star into a giant forge. With the help of Rocket and Groot, they are successful in creating Thor's new weapon, a hammer-axe hybrid called Stormbreaker. Right then, the Avengers, Bruce Banner, all of Wakanda, and the Winter Soldier are in an all-out war against the two minions who attacked Scarlet Witch and Vision, and their unending army of monster dogs. They are losing until Thor suddenly enters the battlefield by way of Bifrost, and instantly turns the tide. He's pretty much a Deus Ex Machina here, showing off his tremendous power in all its glory, and wasting the enemy from the battlefield. Everything is going fine until suddenly Thanos comes for the Mind Stone. He goes straight for Vision, pushing everyone out of his way with little effort. Scarlet Witch reluctantly destroys the Mind Stone, and Vision along with it. But Thanos is completely unfazed as he has 5 of the 6 Infinity Stones in his possession, and uses the Time Stone to turn back time and rip the Mind Stone from Vision. Thanos now has all 6 Infinity Stones and snaps his fingers, removing half the universe from existence. But not immediately. We see how people are disappearing, turning to literal ash in the wind before everyone's eyes. It's a mortifying scene, as seen in Okoye's eyes, especially as T'Challa, the Black Panther, disintegrates right in front of her. But for me, nothing is more emotional than Parker's disappearance, as he is very obviously terrified and crying until finally turning to ash in Tony Stark's arms. Thanos sits upon a green hill, watching a sunset, relieved that his plan succeeded. The heroes look at what has happened, and Steve Rogers utters the words that sum up this tragedy completely. Oh God. The good guys lose. The good guys lose. That's the end of the movie? So you know how a story introduces a new bad guy by showing him beat up the old bad guy? Well, Marvel kind of plays beat the badass in the opposite direction, with Thanos breaking down Hulk. Even though it was a little hard to watch, as the Hulk is my favorite character in the entire Marvel universe, it's still something that I couldn't help but like about the movie. And to take out so many heroes knowing that most, if not all of them, will be back by the conclusion of this story and still be able to hit emotionally is an amazing feat. You actually have to be invested in the characters enough so that when they fail, it's more heartbreaking, and Marvel did just that. The movie itself was pretty heavy and emotional. There were moments of levity with a few jokes here and there, but I never felt them take away from the darker moments, like Thor Ragnarok, and I'm definitely not complaining about that. I also really liked the villain. I couldn't completely hate Thanos. He had a real reason for doing what he did, and felt that despite all the evil he was doing, that he was right in doing it in order to save the universe. And how can I not talk about the amazing fight scenes? The Avengers saving Vision and Scarlet Witch, the war in Wakanda, Thanos fighting on Titan, all showing how the different heroes fight together, even when they don't know each other. It helped show what everyone was capable of, and I loved it. Well, it's not really the bad, it's more like the nitpicks. Some of the CGI is clearly noticeable, but only some. And hey, a giant purple dude walking around everywhere just kinda stands out, so whatever. Having not seen Nick Fury in so many movies, and then finally seeing him again just so he can die, that sucks that he really didn't get to do anything, but at least he called Captain Marvel before disappearing. So, Hulk's a big baby, Thor is an asshole, and Peter Quill is a dumbass. Hulk could have at least come out against the smaller enemies. What's his deal? Thor is saved by the Guardians of the Galaxy and shows his thanks by stealing their food and attempting to steal their space pod. So ungrateful. And Quill. Dude! Wait until the mission is over before beating the crap out of the bad guy. All the tragedy, all the blame falls on you, sir. This movie was super fun to watch, and you should definitely go see it. Even with 4 storylines happening at once, they all still felt comprehensive and connected, and Thanos, being the great villain with a purpose that he is the one who connects them all. Also, when the movie itself ended, I myself was afraid that Marvel wasn't going to give us a post-credit scene in order to fully underscore how tragic this movie ended. How would people have reacted to that? And in lieu of the fun fact from my usual videos, I'm going to talk about my predictions for the Marvel movies between now and Infinity War 2. So first off, I think that Marvel is going to really tease us with Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel. We may not get anything talking about Infinity War 2 in those movies themselves, but I think the post-credit scenes in both of them will hint at the upcoming finale. Maybe people start disappearing around them like Hank Pym. Of course, I know that Captain Marvel is going to look at Nick Fury's page while people are disappearing. I think that's a given. Second, we know that Hawkeye is playing a role in the next movie. Perhaps some or all of his family just disappeared. Then he'd have an even bigger stake in the fight, and he'd just be a really pissed off Hawkeye. Finally, assuming Pepper and Shuri didn't disappear, we might see Rescue, Pepper's alias in her specially made Iron Man suit. Maybe they need all the help they can get and Tony shows Pepper the suit. Then she reluctantly accepts the role. How cool would it be to see Rescue on screen? And perhaps Shuri will step into the Black Panther role until her brother returns. She knows all the tech because of course she does, she built it, but she's also a fighter. So it would be very fun to see her in that kind of role. And even if she wasn't a hand-to-hand fighter and just used her long-range tech, it would still be awesome to see that kind of Black Panther. Well, that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, mash those like, sub, and bell buttons. Did you like the movie? Were my predictions way off base? Let me know in the comments below. And on that note, I'm Rasenryu, and I'll see y'all next time.